So this episode of the Book of Boba Fett was absolutely jam-packed full of interesting material. This episode was nice because it was really cool to see Boba finally get some muscle for his growing organization. I also love the Rancor because it adds a degree of scariness to Boba's palace. Now the episode also featured Boba's backup tank. One of the sequences was of Jango Fett blasting off from Kamino. I think there's definitely going to be something happening there, but we'll just have to see what it is. During his back to time, Boba had also dreamed about the Tusken Raiders. It was really sad to see that the Tusken Raider village was wiped out by the biker gang. I had grown to like the Tuskens more and more, but then poof, they're just gone. You hate to see it. But then the Hutt twins hired a Wookie, Black Chrysanthemum, and forgive me if I messed up the pronunciation, but he attempted to kill Boba while he was in the back to tank until he fell into the Rancor pit and was later returned to the Hutt twins. Now, on to the bigger, juicier Easter eggs. During the exchange with the Hutt twins, there were a few big bombshells that came out. First, they gave Boba a new Rancor, like I mentioned. They also mentioned that they're going back to Nal Hutta, which was a planet from the Clone Wars and the home planet of the Hutts. It was a planet that was heavily rooted in crime, so that should bring a whole bunch of interesting characters should the Hutt twins return. Now the Hutt twins also brought a Rancor caretaker, sort of like the crying guy from Return of the Jedi. He mentions the Night Sisters and how they like to ride Rancors. This could possibly be big because the Night Sisters were supposed to be all extinct. However, there's only one who actually survived. Marin from Jedi Fallen Order, the video game, which is amazing by the way, but she's off exploring the galaxy with Cal Kestis, presumably. The biggest Easter egg in this episode was the reveal of the Pykes prepping for war. This brings a whole slew of questions, such as, is it just them, or are they with someone? Are the Crimson Dawn the ones who are pulling the strings? By extension, does this mean Qi'ra will show up? Again, forgive me for the pronunciation. So I think the Pykes will still be a part of Crimson Dawn, and I think that Qi'ra will reappear. I mean, after the ending to the Solo movie, I just thought she'd be too cool to not use again. So I think the Pykes will be under Qi'ra and Crimson Dawn. Qi'ra just seems like too good of a character to leave on the table. Her brief interaction with Maul at the end of Solo made her so much more interesting and mysterious. I also got to say, I think Qi'ra will be sporting some red lightsabers. I'd presume she'd also be a Force user, but that might be too much for Boba to handle, so I'm going to be bold and say that she isn't a Force user, but I won't be surprised if she is. Now, I had one other question from the show, and it was the biggest one, and that was, does this mean we'll get to see Darth Maul? That was running through my head constantly as I was watching the show. Unfortunately, I answered this one moments after I watched the episode because I just remembered / was reminded that this takes place 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, so Darth Maul is actually dead by this point, which really kind of bummed me out because I had it in my head that Darth Maul and Boba were going to go at it, which I would have loved to have seen them fight, but it's not gonna happen. There's no way. I don't see it happening. So in all honesty, this episode was reserved, and I was kind of alright with that. I think it definitely lays the groundwork for future episodes to be amazing, which they're hopefully going to be more active than this one. Instead of just setting stuff up, they'll actually have like a more active role, I guess. And it is kind of nice to have these wild thoughts and theories floating around your head with these kind of more reserved episodes, so that on the other hand, that is a nice thing about these sort of episodes. I hope you had a fun time. Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, as I'm curious to know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good day.
And his accomplices.
I'm on my way.
Qi'ra, you and I will be working much more closely from now on.